seamlessly. That is what it's all about. So I want to thank you all. And I want to fully endorse my leader. And I want all of you to rally with us and make him Amor Mottley our new Prime Minister. And to bring me, John King, and Dr. Sonia Brown along so that we can form part of the new administration. I thank you. May God bless you.
Don't move, stand up. And I ain't going nowhere. Lord have mercy. You see why we gonna vote? If I ain't down here, you see the energy. You see what happened tonight, the passion. You see the intellect. You see the representation. What he has done over the last 2 years through St. Philip South that Adriel Buffett has never done during his tenure. Who you want? Who you want? Don't move, thank you. No. We have spent tonight, you heard the very wise woman from St. Philip North. Then you heard the 2 wise men, one from St. Philip West, and now you have the hometown boy. But I want to bring to you tonight these 3 wise persons, sorry, because there's a lady and 2 men, follow the star. They follow the star. And that star will return Barbados to its glory days. That star has shown you effective leadership, a national consciousness. She has brought a team for the times, and she has maintained law and order through Dale Marshall in this country, who shadowed the Attorney General effectively. I want to bring to you the next Prime Minister of this country. I want to bring to you a woman of stature, a woman of substance, the person who will rescue St. Philip, North, South, and West from the hands of the King Herods. I want to bring to you tonight Mayor Amor Mottley, our leader and the only leader of the Barbados Labour Party. And let's welcome Mayor. Mayor, to the rescue. Mayor, to the rescue. Barbados will be rescued. Barbados will be saved from the hands of the King Herods. But you are trusting Mayor Amor Mottley. Mayor, watch the wave. Yes, the movement has started in the east. The 3 wise men is following the star. This is a real star. It is rocking. Hold on. We full of energy. This party rocking. Oh. Hold on to this.
Cease and settle, cease and settle. When I was coming up the road, I heard Dale Marshall saying that the wind was blowing. And they warned me that it might have been blowing. But I didn't know that we had a hurricane coming in from the east. You know, we have moved from the north of this country to the south of this country. We have spoken across the last 4 weeks. You know, I tell you that there are always showers of blessing wherever I am. Touch not. But I've come here tonight because I really do believe that there is no parish that has been the subject of greater abject negligence and being ignored than the parish of St. Philip. And I've come here tonight because we really do believe that the East shall lead the change. And that change shall start in St. Philip South, because the person most undeserving of being a member of parliament and being a member of cabinet is none other than Adriel Braffett. You might well be doing him a favor, because he truly does not enjoy representing people. He really doesn't. And the interaction with the people of St. Philip South, they tell you that there is almost a sense in which Adriel's most charming quality is his donkerish attitude and overbearing attitude that literally tells you, the people of St. Philip South, to go for a ride. I'm not talking about somebody you don't know. I'm talking about somebody you know. But I haven't come here to talk about Adriel alone or Michael alone or Eswick alone. I've come here because I am proud to lead a team. And it is a team that understands that its responsibility is to save and to rescue you and this country. Because our ship, Barbados, is not only rocking, but it is running aground. And I've come not to ask you to believe me alone, but you have heard our team over the last few weeks in particular, not just on the national platform, but on the spot meetings. You haven't only heard the likes of Sonia and Indar and John, who I commend to you tonight as the three to bring back the representation to St. Philip that you saw under Cappy Greenwich and Anthony Wood. But we were able in Christchurch to bring a team to the people of Christchurch that we believe can make the difference and to restore not only pride but cleanliness, to restore a sense that this country, through that parish, could go somewhere again. You heard Ryan Strawn tonight from this platform, and you would know that in Ryan, there is a man who can help lead this economy back to stability. You heard at Rendezvous, Adrian Ford, a man who will redefine representation in this country, and his people are here. And Wilfred Abrams, a man who is not frightened for a fella. And Dennis Lowe, the bully, keeps trying to test him, and each time Wilfred just does so and flicks him away as you would flick away a fly. You heard Ralph Thorne. And Ralph Thorne brings to this team a level of experience for representing people who have no voice. And you heard William Duguid, who is truly, truly a giant of a man when it comes to standing up for people. And we went to St. Lucie. And Peter Phillips showed you why he is competing with you in the East. Because the North intends to tell you that they feel they can reach the finish line before you in the East. And I will leave it to you in St. Philip and Peter in the North to see who going to reach the finish line first. And Colin Jordan, a man whose stature and whose respect across the parish of St. Peter shows that he is equal to the task of knowing what it is to come after a prime minister and represent people where it matters. And we went to St. Michael last week and we asked you to judge the Dems on their performance. And whether it was Arthur Holder or Bishop Atherley, whether it was Trevor Prescott, or whether it was Jeffrey Bostic, the general, not a colonel no more, whether it was Neil Rowe, we showed you the new ones. And there is still more to come. We haven't put Kirk Humphrey or Marsha Cattle on this platform yet. Because we have a long batting order. In fact, we got a lot of all-rounders. But in St. Philip, we have brought to you 3 people who don't come to you to say that they come from a party that only represents employers or business people, as Solutions does. They don't come to you because they have a vendetta either against the opponents in the Democratic Labour Party or indeed of any other party. They come to you because they believe, as you just heard from Indar Ware, that there needs to be a new deal for the people of St. Philip, that there needs to be a new deal for the people of Barbados. But the reality is that that new deal can only come if we stand up and give them that chance. Because the country right now, as we just said, is coming close to running aground. And you know, John King spoke tonight to let you know that he is an old hand at this. And he knows how to communicate the feelings of people. And he understands what you have been feeling, because many of our children have come through his hands over the last 20-something years working as a social worker in this country. And Dr. Brown, Sonia, she didn't go to Bridgetown having got her medical degree. She stood with you, the people of St. Philip, and said, I'm going to make it or I'm going to fail among the people who have helped raise me in this country. And it was the people of St. Philip. Most people who come from a district come to town to locate their medical practice. Sonia Brown didn't leave the people of St. Philip. She stayed in Blades Hill. And you understood in her you had a genuine family practitioner interested in tending to your needs. Well, I say to you that when we finish with Michael Lashley and Kerry going to start tonight, Michael Lashley going to need the doctor, not just the people of St. Philip North. And being a caring party and a loving party as we are, we will take care of him, because we recognize that the other location he might be sent to might not treat him as good. And in there, a time will come in this campaign when the Democratic Labour Party will do much of what you probably will hear them do from tomorrow. Abuse and curse, and Indar has started to sensitize you to it. But he is more interested, as I just told you, in a new conversation. And I am happy to lead a team of 20 new people who have never served in a government yet, but who understand that if we got to take this country to the next level, there has to be a new conversation. This week, I met with a number of young people on different occasions. And there are people in this country who want to make a difference in Barbados. But this government has left them out of the conversation. This government has not provided for them. There are others, and this is the part that hurts me, and you'll hear me talk about it over and over, who have left school. They do not know what it is to hold down a job full time in this country. They've never had to. They don't know what it is to have to come in from outside early to get sleep because you got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go and bathe and get ready. I was going to tell you to catch the 7 o'clock bus, but you really got to catch the 6 o'clock bus. If there's one. They don't know what it is to have to discipline themselves, to have to report to work, because they've never had a full-time job. Now, I have been in public life in this country for almost 30 years. And I know that almost everyone before the last 7 or 8 years, when children came out of school, they may not have got this job that they wanted right away, but within a year or two, they were working in something. A lie? But you now have a situation in this country where the dreams and the ambitions of our children, our young people, are being thwarted by a government that has failed to provide for them. You heard Dwight Sutherland tonight in fine form tell you from this platform, plan after plan after plan after plan after plan, 7 plans, and all failed. And now the 8th one is before us. You heard Ryan Strawn show you how this government has left you more than $21,000 poorer because of the way in which they have mashed up this economy. And what is worse, that the 3 ministers who are here propping up this government in St. Philip are not junior ministers, are not parliamentary secretaries. They are the senior ministers of this government. And to add insult to injury, the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance live in St. Philip too. To add insult to injury, the Member of Parliament for St. John live in St. Philip too. Do you understand that people who move among you every day are the people who are responsible for mashing your future up? Do you understand that they have not even paused and said, Jim Brown, my man, how you doing? How you getting through? You're a welder. When last you get a welding contract in this government under this party? When last? Does it matter? Or are they more concerned, as Michael Ashley did, the first time Michael Ashley got a call when he became a minister, before he wait in his office and have people come to meet him, he running down to St. Peter to meet you know who. This is the kind of minister that you want representing you. But I bet if you call him and tell him come to you tomorrow, you can't get through to him on the phone. And I know for a fact, because I was present when one of his good friends now tried to call him. And they say, he call. He won't answer. And the good friend tell the man that got my initials to call him and say, hey, what's up, brother? Answer on one ring. Now, whose interest is being served? So when I tell you that the Democratic Labour Party is now to be renamed BFF, you know what BFF stands for? Business people, friends, and family. And I ain't even too sure about the friends because they like the left off them and they're really just BF. Business people and family. And when I tell you that they're bringing a nephew and a niece to the table, Solutions is the nephew and UPP is the niece. But study yourself. If your record is so poor and you have nothing to recommend yourself to the people of Barbados, I'm not speculating now. Every night for the last Sunday night for the last few weeks, they have gone and talked to the people. They didn't bring the facts yet other than Frandel and Chris talking. Sewage. But if for the last 3-4 weeks you have had the chance to listen to Lashley, to Esther Bayer, to Kelman, well, forgive him, God bless him. He is now into the total blame game of the Labour Party creating chikungunya. Frandel, if all they have done is to come and tell you those things, they have not told you, like Anthony Wood, we built a pavilion for the people of Rices and the people of St. Philip South. They have not told you, like Cappy Greenwich, they built a pavilion at Burton. They have not told you that they built a road linking Burton and Ebenezer, as Cappy Greenwich could have told you. They have not told you the things that Anthony Wood could literally list off. What his accomplishments are as long as he is tall and he tall. But what they have to tell you is they're going to explain Amor Mottley. Well, you don't need me explain because here I am with Dennis Brown. This is me. They don't need you to explain Indar Ware or John King. What you need to know is how they're going to give you a salary increase as a public servant. What you need to know is when you're going to get back your income tax returns. What you need to know is when the VAT refunds come in. What you need to know is when we are going to get a handle of crime on this country without trying to make Barbados into a police state. What you need to know is how can an attorney general preside over the appointment of a service commission with a prime minister again? It's the prime minister's appointment, but I would like to believe that the prime minister talked to the attorney general before he appoints a police service commission. You're going to appoint a mid-level officer who retire, and all of a sudden, the police service commission finds itself before the court not once, twice, but now again in confusion. Because the same thing that they did before, not taking the recommendations of the commissioner, they want to do now to this commissioner, as if now, a commissioner of police cannot run the police force, which is a disciplined, hierarchical institution. What are you bringing this country to? And the notion that you do not have a record on which to run is, in my view, what has propelled what I believe to be the alliance between the Democratic Labour Party and these institutions that are creeping their cells and coming up through the weeds. Solutions and UPP. I know that in 1976, the parties that came up were against the government. Ironically, these parties now seem focused on the opposition. Well, if we are so large and in charge in your mind, talk your hearts out. We will stay focused not on person, not on personality, but on the people's interests, the people's agenda. And to that extent, I want to spend a few minutes tonight talking to you about where we find ourselves in Barbados. Because tomorrow, Dale reminded us that, and Ryan, that this parliament has 23 days left. And we are in the unusual situation of having to debate estimates in January. And these estimates in February, come against the background that Parliament dies on the 5th of March. And the only way the government can stay beyond the 31st of March and make sure that temporary officers can be paid is by doing the estimates now. You with me so far? But estimates is supposed to be about giving government the tools to run the country and to fix the country's problems. You with me? And what are the country's problems? I have made it clear that we have in Barbados now not just one or two or three or four problems, but we have a mountain of problems. And this is not rhetoric. I'm going to carry you through them. We have a problem with our foreign reserves. And the governor of the central bank has told us that it is declining. And we have told you that in the reserves declining, what does it mean for you, the ordinary person? That a day may come where they may not have the money to buy what they need on the supermarket shelves properly, or the clothes, or the oil, or the diesel that you need to run this country. I only want the questions when I'm done from there. The 8 questions for Chris. 2, we have a problem with our debt. Barbados is the 3rd most indebted country in the entire world. You understand that only Japan and Greece have a higher debt to GDP ratio. I want you in the West Indies team. The same cricket, World Cup women's cricket, that the government refused to bring to Barbados because they won't sign the contract for them to host it at Kensington in November. Bad-minded. But the debt means that we can't get out of this hole easy because the country owes away so much debt that in order for us to borrow to build out real things that are going to earn money for the country, we need a new fish market in town. We need to be able to take our fishing industry and retool it. Our sugar industry is in trouble. Most of the tractors in the sugar industry in Barbados are 25 and 30 years old. You know, my man. That's the point. So that when you go accumulating the debt that they have been accumulating because of their high spending, whether the spending is for all kinds of things from corruption right back down, there is no space left back to do the things that your children and this country really needs to lift us up again. 3, we have a problem with sewage. I don't need to tell you that. The whole world knows that. We have a problem with the money that we owe people, the arrears. I talk about the income tax, refunds, the VAT refunds, reverse tax credit. But what about the big ones, the University of the West Indies, the big players that we owe tens of millions of dollars to? We have a problem with our buses. Less than 60 buses functioning when the day comes, and people who depend on buses to get to work in order to keep down a job are at risk of losing jobs in this country. We have a problem with garbage. And all you can hear is Dennis Snow telling you for the last 3-4 years that trucks coming, trucks coming, trucks coming. Well, if the truck's coming, I don't know which part he's talking about. But he has been more interested, like the Water Authority, in building a headquarters than in buying the trucks to collect the garbage across the country. We have a problem with the backlog of criminal cases, and this Attorney General knows it and should have done something about it. How do you have 10,000 criminal cases as a backlog? I didn't say 1,000. I didn't say 5,000. You know what 10,000 criminal cases is as a backlog? You understand that if somebody get locked up tomorrow, they gotta wait probably 5-6 years for the case to get heard if you don't intervene and fix the system? We have a problem with our children waiting for the buses for 1 and 2 and 3 hours and getting themselves in trouble with fights when the day come week after week after week. Have I said anything that is not urgent? And therefore, when you see estimates come to us tomorrow, you would like to believe that in those estimates lie the figures and the plans to solve this country's problems. I am here tonight to tell you that there is virtually next kin to nothing in those estimates that are designed to help us solve our problem with our debt, because we still add into it. Nothing in there to help us solve our problem with the transport board, because there's no provision to get it right. And I'm not even talking about the $20,000 man that gone back to Trinidad. I ain't talking about him tonight. When I go to the north, I will leave that for the north. I am not talking about anything in there that I see for you to deal with the garbage trucks. But what is more is that we have a government that tells you that it is bringing this plan. You hear Frandel talking about this fancy plan? And this Barbados Sustainable Recovery Plan, the 8th plan, what is it coming to tell you? That they want, hold for this one, that they want to return Barbados to investment grade. Now, is this the same investment grade that Frandel tell you is rubbish? That Frandel told you that nobody can downgrade Barbados, you remember that? And all of a sudden, there's an admission that this return to investment grade, which we have said all along, is important. So I want to tell you that when you look at all of these things together, the estimates and this plan, all of it is just to create a puppy show, a political gamesmanship exercise, just to allow them to be able to stay on in government for as long as possible. The only problem is this, that when you finish, who is carrying the bag? It is the people of Barbados. And I, therefore, said to the country on Thursday, let's draw breaks. You heard from the governor of the central bank. He told you the country's sick, the country ain't well. He told you our reserves are down. He told you our deficit is too high. We then heard on the same day from the International Monetary Fund, and they told us the same thing that the governor of the central bank told us on that day. Not a word from Frandel. Not a word from Sinclair. A few days later, you then heard from Moody's, the rating agency, the same one that downgraded us time after time after time, that Frandel say it is rubbish, that they're now trying to claw back and say, we want back the thing you take away from us with the credit rating. And they said the same thing that the governor and the IMF told you. You understand that a week didn't pass yet? And before the week could end, you had who? The Caribbean Development Bank. And they like to talk pretty about the people who are members. So they ain't a bad talk, Barbados. But what they told us is that in spite of the hurricanes in the Caribbean that mash up countries in the Caribbean, that the country that is going to perform the worst in the Caribbean is Barbados. And the only hurricane we had was Hurricane Frondel. So, I could come up here and make a lot of mock sport tonight. I could go in Parliament tomorrow and make a lot of mock sport. But you know what? When the mock sport done, my man Jim Brown, where you getting work next week from? When the mock sport done, where you getting food from to buy? When the mock sport done, where the buses coming from? And where the trucks to collect the garbage coming from? So that I have to know when to draw breaks. And I have drawn breaks in the sand tonight. Because enough is enough is enough. And I have said that Frondel Stewart and Chris Sinclair have a duty to answer these questions. The problem is that this party, the Democratic Labour Party, has never come out of opposition. And that is why its sole preoccupation is about blaming people rather than building for people. You hear what I tell you? Blaming people rather than building for people. Well, anything that starts with B, we got to be a master at, and we want to build for people. But for us to build for people, we need to know the vital statistics of the patient. What is the patient blood pressure? What is the patient pulse rate? What is the patient cholesterol? Can you put the patient to go and run a marathon or a sprint? You understand? And the foreign reserves is a vital statistic. The debt is a vital statistic. The question of printing money is an indication that the country's sick, the country ain't well. You understand what I'm telling you? The infrastructure is the body breaking down. When you start to get the pains and the aches, that is like the sewage system breaking down and the buses breaking down and the trucks breaking down. So that these 8 questions, we put them in the paper for you. We put them on the internet for you. Chris Sinclair, when you finish cursing Amor Mottley. Chris Sinclair, when you finish cursing Dale Marshall and Toppin and Kerry Simmons and all of the opposition. Answer these 8 questions for the people of Barbados. Because until you give us the vital statistics of this economy, you have done nothing. And we say that you can run, but not hide. And that whenever done, if you don't answer them tomorrow, if you don't answer them Wednesday, if you don't answer them Friday, you got 2 weeks after that. And if you don't answer them the end of that week, you have 1 week after that. And I say to you, the people of this country, that it is time that nobody who acts in your name can be coming and hiding information, because they know. And tomorrow I'm going to deal with it. They know where the 3 letters are that have come from the governor of the central bank and why he has ignored them. All because of an election. This country is sick. And this country deserves a doctor to fix it. And this country, I want you to know that that doctor doesn't come in the form of one person. It comes in the form of a team. And John King, Sonia Brown, and Indar Ware, I want you to come. I ask you, the people of St. Philip, tonight, Let the change start in the East. And I say this. In 1999, the people of St. Philip South started the change in the East. The people of St. Philip South told Frondell Stewart, pack your bags and go. Tonight I ask you, tell Frondell Stewart again, pack your bags and go. Good night and God bless you.
Oh God! Yes! Yes! There's nothing wrong with entertainment. Yes!